Hey there, today I'm looking at Parte LL Mod RE-REMAKE, a mod originally created by Parte, which was kept going on by Moon and his team. Now, however, Flamboyant Schemer 61 and Crimson, amongst others, are taking the mod over, keeping it updated while they wait for Moon to come back. So this mod creates some custom Yedri for you to play in your campaigns. Naturally, you need mixers in Yoka. This will be the first of 2 videos which I'll do on this mod, as there's 10 Yedri to get through, so I thought I'd split them into 5s. Okay, with that out of the way, I'll take you through each Yord, some stats about them, on the campaign and on the battlefield, then take a quick look at their skill tree. With that being said, let's head to our first one, Wakaf, the Beast Yord. So starting in the far northwest of the Warhammer map, you will find Wakaf, the Beast Yord, a Yedri Beastmaster who is considered to be the best the Dark Elves have at this cruel art. In his dungeons are a whole man of different beasts he has tamed. To show off these natural gifts as a child, he broke the will of the black dragon Brachus, something his father could not do, and now he freely rides his dragon into battle. So let's start with some faction effects. Here you can see there's very nice cheap upkeep and recruitment costs on various monsters in the Dark Elves roster, as well as some nice recruitment rank bonuses as well for Beastmasters. Faction effects are about boosting the damage of the monsters, as well as increasing their healing. Finally, there's the long-standing good relations with Karan Kar. Naturally, the starting army has a beast, and in this case a War Hydra, and a few units of cavalry as well, which is the most welcome starting point for any army. His stats on the battlefield are pretty formidable, with high melee attack and good defense, backed up by some good armor values as well. While his damage is okay, but nothing special, as only 150 AP damage, so kind of struggle with enemies who have a large health pool and good armour. As mentioned, he can ride into battle on Brachus, his black dragon, which certainly takes care of his damage issue. 360 AP and 20 anti-infantry means he's very formidable on his favourite dragon. He also has 2 items to talk about: the Whipper Agony, boosting speed and leadership around himself, and Beast's Armour, dropping damage all around him. Interesting items to say the least, and keeping him with other units, especially monsters, is a good idea. So here's Wakaf the Beast Yord's skill tree. So with each skill tree, all I'm going to go is quickly and just briefly go over the main points of the skill tree. I'm not going to go into too much depth, as it's mainly just the one item which is going to be different. So let's have a quick look through it anyway, and I'll do the same for each one of course. So across the bottom we've got the Root Marcher and the usual things, mainly based around obviously the Dark Elf faction. Got Draft Master in the middle, Anti Strike, Quartermaster, Fleeting Shadow, Elven Healing, and Feared Renounce. So nothing unusual there. Again, we got the bonuses for the various units in his army. So there's a bit of Black Earth Corsairs, the whole War Hydras, which I presume you're going to go over to Monster Heavy with a particular army for obvious reasons. And he's got some charge bonuses. More damage for the actual monsters, which I would recommend. Nyord and Ruthless Predators. Strength through Spite, so plus 5 melee attack. Constant around him, very handy. Oh, scroll down a bit more, there. Cold and Worthy. Ravager Rewards, Favour of the Fortunate, and Fear Bloodiest. So various things, and there's Beast Swear right at the end. Then, of course, his own personal abilities, which I think to speak for himself. That's plus armor 5 with his cloak. So it's nothing out of the ordinary there. I'll just quickly scan through. Oh, that's where you get his Ripiash, which is one of his abilities. Very nice. Right, his own personal ones. So we've got Wild Achievement. So that boosts his speed, leadership, and reduces vigor. Very good. Anything to keep those monsters going is much appreciated. Fatal Hatred, so it gets High Elves, Scourge of Terror. So they're just the usual buffs of various Cold Knights and the Chariots. Master Beast Slayer, which obviously I think you should get. Recruitment duration reduced by 1 for pretty much all of them, which is really good. And it's a nice melee attack as well. And you've got Dark Thunderbolt of Destruction, which sounds just great. Armor piercing damage plus 10, hit points plus 5, Vigorous. And then the archery, but no, it's Supreme Beast Lord. So this is his end skill. 14. Your plus 2 for high High Beast Masters, which is really handy. That is a really good ability. And recruitment rank +5 for all those monster units. That's very powerful. And reduction of recruitment cost as well. Very nice. And across the top, you go on a Dark Seed, Cold One, or of course Brachus, which is his dragon. And there's Whip of Agony. There's his armour. And you've got Sadist, Eternal Hatred, and of course, Ward of Cain and Wild of Hakarati. I think that's how you say it. So there you go, that's Rakaf. Next up is a Hag Queen, who's fanatical about being the best Hag Queen ever. And to rule over the Sisterhood. Starting in the Broken Lands, Maeda has some interesting faction effects. Increasing the growth of any black arc, and being able to keep slaves alive longer and get more income from them to boot. Her own abilities are naturally around Witch Elves and Death Hags. Increase the damage and charge, while she can have a larger capacity of Death Hags from the off. The starting army is very good for some Executioners, 2 units of Witch Elves, and some nice mobility with the Harpies, providing a very good hard-hitting force straight from the off. On the battlefield, naturally, she's very aggressive with high attack, with the Madness of Cain debuff on her weapon. Defense, however, is reasonably low, and that low armor as well makes her vulnerable. However, the damage is quite powerful, 130 AP and 20 anti-infantry bonus, means she can be a real handful to deal with. Maeda's items are her own personal weapons, the Blood Braids, slowing down enemies and dropping their leadership by 20. Then to boost her skills on defense, she can have the armor of Cain. While not boosting her armor particularly, does increase her defense by 15, making it to 55, which certainly helps in the 1v1 fights. It has to be a 20 seconds ward to pretty much negate all damage, making a really scary duelist. When you cannot rude Maeda for those 20 seconds, she can really get the upper hand in the fight, and she'll be very likely to win from there. Now to Maeda's skill tree. So here we go again. So as you can see, these are going to be very similar to what we've just gone over. So I'm just going to skip through it. And I don't think there's anything I can see which is different. Nothing on that tree. These are all the same. Obviously you're going to be wanting more Witch Elf type buffs for this one. Which I'd be, like this one in particular, Slaughter Yord. Strength through Spite, yeah, this is all the same. Kindle of Fury at the end, which I think is different. Sounds, yeah, because they have a beast thing, yeah, that's a quick look at that. Yes, 9 plus 9 melee attack and 8% weapon damage around a 40 meter radius. Yeah, run this with a few Witch Elves, you'd be yaffing all the way to the blood bank, so to speak. So we've got Dance of Death, these are all her own personal abilities. Or of course more focused on her ability to inflict damage. I've always had Blood Frenzy, it's a great ability that is. Just stacks so well, you just want to keep that combat going all the time. So that's the Blade Shielded, 3 foot. How far can you get your defense up, by the way? Me 12 on that one, and it's Impassion, was it? Yeah. So 12 on that one, 24. Yeah, she can be pretty defensive actually, to be fair. And it's got Heroic Killing Blow. Now my own personal ones, so we've got Hag Queen, because fear of Witch Elves units, very good. Daughters of Cain, some more bonuses for Witch Elves. Blood Dance, I think that's pursuit just for her, speed plus 20%, yes it is. And Ward Save, and Vigorous, really good. Anything to get her into the fight quicker. Killing Feast, Crewman Mag for Death Hags, more immediate defense for Death Hags, etc. Red Feathers, more for the Harpies. Oh, expendable for the Harpies. That's interesting. I haven't seen that one before. Is that the usual Beastmaster tree? Oh, sorry, the Hag Queen tree. I don't think it is. That's interesting. I like that. An Army of Cain. Dropping upkeep. I always like ones that drop upkeep. Nice recruitment rank as well. And recruitment cost. Very good. She can be mounted at a Cauldron of Blood if you so desire. Then you got the Blood Chalice. Beard Braids, her own personal weapon. Oh, that adds a bit of melee attack and charge bonus as well, which doesn't say on the 2-tip in the custom battle. Interesting. That makes it even more vulnerable. Blood Arm of Cain, which is the armour which we've been through. Greater Ward of Cain, missile resistance. I've got Rich Brew, which is of course the spell ability. And I got a second Cauldron, more Witch Brew uses. Secret of Cauldron, more hit points, and that's Bride of Cain. So we've got a lot of things you can tweak in that one, and that is a really interesting one. And that one, that surprised me, that one. Interesting. Anyway, That's Hag Queen Mida. Up next is a Skaven, and the most successful packmaster of Clan Mordor, based in Hellpit, just bordering Kislev. Ddraig himself the runs that Skule was, made him unlikely to make it out of the Skaven Yitters. However, being a sneaky Skaven, he turned not to his fellow Skaven for aid, but to the common rat. Having quite the affinity with the Ori rats, he started to gain a reputation of a skilled trainer of the small vermin, and the Master Molders noted this and gave him a chance of trading larger creatures, where of course Skule excelled. As you might expect, the faction's effects have some noticeable benefits and creates a huge food capacity and increased growth as well. With recruitment costs a lot cheaper, and superior beasts as well, means you have a good starting point. He also has his own armies, which has interesting abilities, and making the rat ogres unbreakable, which is a rare thing indeed for a Skaven army. And them being so cheap means it's rat ogres doomstack incoming. The starting army is formidable to say the least. Start off with some basic fan rats and slaves, however it ramps up with those 2 units of ogres, which of course are the Skule's leadership are unbreakable, and a Hellpit or abomination as well, which is also start with such a high tier unit. Skule is no runt anymore. He's got in such high regard for his skills with beasts, he has a lot of food and has grown to a decent size for Skaven, and now become a affordable fighter with high attack and decent damage to boot as well. 150 AP and 30 anti-injury, so he should not be taken lightly, especially with that solid armour as well. Item wise, he has his formidable Warp Yash whip, increasing his splash damage and melee attack. Great when he gets surrounded and he can deal with them quickly. Then he has Horn of the Packmaster, increases speed and charge. It is a shame he doesn't have a mount, as you'd think he would have access to his own rat ogre. Maybe someone in the team could add it to him. As Skule at the front of a group of rat ogres charging in would just feel right. So on to his skill tree. What have we got here then? Oh, pretty much the same Skaven type of things. I'll just nip over, see if I can see anything obvious. Corruptive. Yeah, these are all pretty much the same type of thing. Yep, all the same. Mine on mine. Okay, so inspiring presence. More of a similar. So got a bit of melee attack for clan rats. Obviously you're going to go into the... Oh, that's quite cool. Mutated skin. Infantry, respect feared. And obviously you want to go down to the Molder knowledge. I think you need to max that out. And the fresh grinder as well, that'd be perfect. Then you got Rari. Whip smart, I think that'd be quite handy, but I would still go for the mutagenic AXs first. But there's a lot of options there for you. And then you got standard die, which is always good. So he's a pretty potent Mia Yord, and so this just boosts that up. And getting pretty damn formidable to be fair. Right, small explosion as well. Runemaker, Scar of Arm, and Braid Shield, and Expeditions and Deadly Onslaught. So yeah, quite a few options. So let's have a look at the key one. Master Mutator. So magic resistance, physical resistance, and vigorous, really good. And scheme corruption +3, that's really good. Enemy region, so that starts that thing off. Some bonuses for rat ogres, as you might expect. Immune to pain. Armor for 10 for clan rats. Immune to psychology for clan rats, that's really good. And physical resistance as well. Deep darkness, a bit of movement and vanguard deployment during subterranean battles, really nice. Shambling horror. So more casual prevention for the Hellbit, which is always good. And some more bonuses. And Hails of the Great Horned Rat. More hit points, casualty punishment +10%, and recruitment rank +2 for ogres and Hellpits. Really nice. And recruitment yokel recruitment duration -1 as well. Very nice. So that's his weapon and Horn of Packmaster, so just been through. Sneaky, tricksy, and warpstone weapon. Very nice too. So that's Squeal. Time to check on the Dwarfs. And let's go into the Grey Mountains, which is of course the range that splits the Petunia and the Empire. Here we find the small hold of Zarek Saffron and the Dwarf King Rorak Granite Hand. With great reductions in building costs and a huge decrease in upkeep of the very expensive iron breakers, and that's not enough, substantial boost in incoming from mining. With an aim at granite hand, it's not surprising there was a large boost to miners for this faction. With weapon strength for both of them and the iron breakers as well, which gives you a much hardier miner. Naturally, your starting army reflects this with a unit of iron breakers and 3 units of miners, as well as a catapult, which is another great starting army for any dwarf, especially with a unit of young bearers along for the ride as well. So on the battlefield, Warwick is a hybrid yard with traditional high armour and a shield with solid defence as well. I can deal with punishment with 450 damage and 100 of that is AP. His ranged shot is very powerful as it's only an explosion or some demolition charges. However, he only has a couple of shots of these, so be careful. They do pack a large amount of explosive power in that short range, so definitely pick your targets well. 3 items to talk about, and first up is the Hammer of Karak Zuthrin, adding a nice damage boost to Rorak, and increases his own magic resistance as well. Then we move on to a really interesting constant buff. Due to the quality and unique properties of the ore in this region, the shield can emit a bright light, increasing their potency and making it a truly unique item. Lastly, we have Mountain Breaker, a gauntlet which uses resistance to missiles and physical damage, meaning that this, as every dwarf should be, Warwick should be in the heat of the fight. And now onto his skill tree, so let's just spin this to the left. There we go. So your Root Marcher, Miner's Instinct, Wall Breaker, Pure Grey Mountain Beards, Dwarfs even. Attrition minus 50%, that's really handy for dealing with the vampires early on, because you're right next to one of them. And Untainted +2, which is really good. So Mason as well. Very handy. Iron Willed, Lightning Strike, Reassuring Presence, Inspirational Reader, Alert, and Forge of Spinneer, which is something I haven't seen before. It may be one of the other skill trees. It's hard to keep track, isn't it? But +3 for Runesmiths and nice research rate, which is really good. Spying Presence, Mountain Breeze, so these are buffs for the Dwarfs, Warriors, and Miners, which is really good. Armor Smasher, more buffs for the Miners and Iron Breakers only this time. And more buffs for Spinneer's Warriors, so it's more for Miners and Iron Breakers. Really good. I'll really get the Iron Breakers defense up to ridiculous. So you can really buff up the Miners something rotten with this particular tree. Some more damage for Missile Strength, and these are the usual ones. Got Rari, Blessed by Grugni, Dowie Firepower, Honoured by Grimnir, and Morgul's Favoured, and a Standing Round, so those are the normal ones. Onwards, few of the Ancestors, they were rank 6, so these are the more unique ones, so Weapon Strength V, or pretty much everybody, Chaos Wise, and Charge Bonus as well, and the Greenskins, very nice. So that covers a lot with one ability. Iron Fist, bit of Public Order, that's quite good. Gather the Warriors, just the basic stuff, nothing special. Western Trade Routes, that boosts all the trade buffs, nice bit of income as well. Nice bit of casualty replenishment, that goes to rank 15, that's about 15% even. And then King of Zarek Zin, what does this bring you? Nice bonus to hit points, leadership, campaign movement, armor for dwarf shielded units, excellent. Ward save for 25% for minor units, that's very powerful. Oh, just for his Yord army, okay. And global recruitment duration, -1 for all units. That's across the board, that's pretty powerful. Full plate armor, so there's always, of course, his own personal ones. I think these are all the usual ones. Just a quick look though, while we're here. Room mark by, yep, and yes, all the usual ones. Across the top, Mountain Breaker is one of his weapons. It was a gauntlet. That's his weapon, the Hammer of Karak Zuthrin. Narkarad, that unique ability. Really good that. And adds melee defense as well. Didn't know that. That's really good. Leadership buff, Rune of Grimnir, Overforging, Yord of the Deeps, and Brass Younged, quite a lot across the top, and Obstinacy. Not bad at all. So that is Warwick. I asked Yord Durkat, he's one of the greatest and infamous of all the Orc war bosses. Starts out in the Western Badlands. At the head of one of the largest wargs the world has ever seen, he wiped out Solund off the map, and crushed Emperor Sigismund. An Orc who is particularly fond of the largest of his kin, and does not really care for goblins. As his faction effects means he has a recruitment rank bonus for Boar Boys and Biggins, and a sizable decrease in upkeep across all Orc units. His own army boosts the Orcs even more with some extra AP, and very valuable immune to psychology on the various Boar units. So it comes to no surprise that Gorbad's starting army is all Orcs, with Brigands and all the Boar Cavalry for all your Orc needs. Means he has a sizable and scary starting army. Gorbad also has a second Goblin vassal army, possibly young for rations or maybe some more fighting, but more likely rations. Naturally, Gorbad is terrifying on the battlefield and the biggest threat from our yesterday. Great combat stats and huge damage, which has AP of 370, which is very high, and 20 bonus to infantry as well. With that high armour to protect himself, and an equally terrifying charge bonus, means Gorbad does work on the battlefield. Items wise, you can equip the legendary Mulgar the Mangler, a terrifying weapon making Gorbad almost unstoppable on the battlefield. And if that's not enough, you can also wear his thick red armour to increase his damage resistance as well. There's one Orc war boss who will be difficult to stop. And the last skill tree we're going to look at is of course Gorbad. So let's see what Gorbad has put in store for us. So we've got Root Marcher, press right make, that won't work, there we go. Root Marcher, here we go. Raider, User, Ravager, so all the usual ones pretty much. The biggest Warg. Lightning Strike, Outcreevering, more Boss, Weary Green and Warg Path. All the usual ones. All these seem to be the usual ones as well. Crawboys, Gobbles, Claws, Iron Crawboys charge, so that's probably a bit different, yes. Just for Orc units, that's different. And I don't think they're different. It might be actually. Yeah, I think they're more specific to this particular order. Gobble's Crowd, did big yards and aimed at the target. Get back here. That's the YouTube buff. That's a hit. Hard yards, biggest and strongest, and Savage Smarts. Smash and faster, really good ability. The boss is Big Pran, Empire in Frame. That's his own specific one. So we've got Fight Against Men, makes sense with his history of fighting against humans. Really good. Green Destroyer, so that's ability heroic combo, really good. Orcs are the best, a bit of physical resistance, only 5%, nothing spectacular but all helps, a bit cheaper. Then got the best Boar Boys, which is nice, adds fear to those units, which is really good, and that adds weapon strength. Loot is fun, nice bit of armour as well, and a bit of income. And Gork's Pressing, armor piercing plus 20. Casually suffer from nutrition, that's really good. Diplomatic relations plus 50 for leadership. That's not bad. And attribute unbreakable. I presume that's just for him. I can actually check that, can't I? Let's have a look. Yes, it is. Thought so. Brave Master, Devastating Charge, Choppers, Scar Veteran, Deadly Braid, yep, Full Seeker, all these are the usual affair. And then what? And of course, Warg at the end. Yep, they're all the usual affair. His personal boar, Nawa. Or Nawa. Or Nawa, yeah, it'd be Nawa. The big heavy armour, Morgan the Mangler, that amazing weapon, Dodgy Geezer, Tunnel Boss, and Bellower, so that adds his leadership. Oh, so there you go, that's Gorbad's skill tree. Thanks for watching part 1 of this video, and in coming weeks I will complete the series with the next one. Until then, thanks for watching.